Hello and welcome to ZED Talks. And yes, you have Zed on a bed. Yep, today we are going to dive into something quite unknown, and I've got a very, very special guest. I think you're going to like this one, and I think he might too. So, my business partner, co-founder, is Aman Singh. I don't know if you know that. Anyway, he's the guy behind the camera, and I'm going to say, come on, Aman.
What?
Come and take a seat. Come on.
Wait. It's a surprise.
This is
Okay.
a surprise because Aman doesn't like to be in front of the camera. He's a high introvert. Well, you might not think that if you know him, but anyway, so come and sit down. We're going to have a chat. I think our listeners are going to enjoy this because...
Okay. Just give me a second.
Oh, he's adjusting himself.
Yeah.
Okay, right, we're ready to roll.
Okay.
So as you know, this is unscripted, unfiltered and unedited. And I started this year talking about how, you know, my thoughts randomly for 2026. And actually, I don't do that alone. So this is Aman. Say hi.
Hello.
Do you want to tell the viewers a little bit about you?
My name is Aman. I'm 24 years old, co-founder and chief AI officer of Empowered AI. And today I'm feeling like on the spot because I was just behind the camera. I thought we are recording few reels and stuff, and she just picked me up from there.
Love it.
Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, so we're in Thailand. We're at the time of filming this, we're in Thailand, and we came here to basically co-work. So Aman lives in Dubai, and I live in the UK, and we run a business together jointly. And we find that we need to be together because we need to go locate. That's how synergy works. Now, we may work with AI, but we also know that humans and proximity and relationship building is a basis of good business. And I don't think that's going to change no matter how, certainly not in my lifetime. And we're going to talk about lifetimes because we're very different generations. So that's maybe, let's see where we go, because Aman's got no idea what I'm going to ask him and no idea what we're going to talk about. And that's what makes it so exciting. So strap yourself in, buckle up, and let's talk about it. And by the way, hit the subscribe button, show us some love on our YouTube channel, or my Zed YouTube channel, and let's go. So let's tell the viewers a little bit about how we met. We'll keep names out of it, but how did we meet? What happened? Your version of the story.
Okay, so before Empowered AI, I was a founder of marketing agency in Dubai. And I was working with coaches and consultants, and I was having a conversation with a client who I was trying to close. So basically a lead. And she wasn't understanding what I was saying. So we booked another call where I had no idea that she's going to bring Zoe on the call. I didn't know Zoe, but my lead knew Zoe before. And she came and she started asking me numbers, KPIs. And I'm like, I started feeling comfortable because someone understands my language. And we had a conversation, very nice conversation. I closed the client also. And after that sales call, we reached out to each other, connected on LinkedIn. And I guess within 3 weeks, we started our own business, Empowered AI.
Yeah, we got a first client before we even literally registered a business, right? Because like how, you know, your life partner is your one choice, right? But your business partner is your other partner. You've got to choose right. And I've been in situations before where I've chosen people that haven't necessarily been right for me. So we started our journey together. Now you're Gen Z,
yeah,
and I'm Gen X. How does it work? How does it work? So tell us a little bit about Gen Zers, like what in the work context. What's it like for what does Gen Z want? What do you want from your work situation, place? What excites you as a Gen Zer?
So I'm not sure if I'll be able to give you a very accurate example because I started business at very early age because of dealing with more Gen X and millennials. Maybe I'm not purely Gen Z in terms of my thought process because I find 70% of my team is Gen Zs. And I find a lot of difference between them and me because they are super spontaneous. They need a reason behind what needs to be done. It doesn't work like, oh, do this and they are going to do it. You have to give them a correct reason and context behind it, that why are we going to do this. And creativity, the thinking, out of the box thinking, and just fighters. Even if, even this is in me also, even if I think you are right, I still want to contradict in some way. That,
Provocative, we might call that.
yeah,
Debating.
exactly. So even if I think you are 100% right, I still want to contradict. I still want to find a specific point. Oh, maybe we can change this, or at least, because we don't like normal. We need something different in something.
Yeah, I'd agree that, I mean, Gen Z, at the time of recording this, the eldest Gen Z, I think is around 29. And then we've got about a 12 or 13 year span, and then it becomes Alpha Gen, the lower end. And then we've got Gen Y, which is the millennials. And I think that, you know, we're generalizing about, you know, different generations. But actually, one of the things that might be a misconception around Gen Z is they're very entitled, or so it appears. And you would only hear a Gen X say that, actually. You'll only hear a Gen X say Gen Z is so entitled. But we have to remember that they've been brought up with every technology.
Exactly.
And their level of basic and standard is far different from an X and Y. So I'm a Gen X. Okay, so we're going to come on to Gen X and Z. It's a very unlikely partnership. For many people, they wouldn't necessarily understand this. But age aside, we're looking for skills and what can help in a business, right? So as a Gen X, I'm used to getting shit done. I don't question it. I'm asked to do it, and you don't need to ask me twice. It's done. So this way of working from a Gen X to a Gen Z is not by telling them what to do. It's about a co-created conversation, which is how might we do this? And I think that's the biggest thing I've learned from you, because we do ask each other, like, how do we do this? I mean, we've got different roles.
Exactly.
We do have different roles, and we've established those, you know, what I'm in charge of and make a decision, and what Aman's in charge of and making a decision, which we've done quite naturally, actually. But it's an unlikely pairing, and I think it's not obvious to people when they meet us, like, what's this relationship? Which is quite
what?
fun.
Yeah.
Who does what? Like, who does what? So yeah. So what was the main reason that you sort of were interested in partnering with me?
I remember I had a SaaS idea in my mind called Wellen. I wanted to create a automated marketing agencies for SMBs who cannot afford bigger agencies. So I shared this idea with you, and you had another idea which was related to building something similar, more on the consulting side for people businesses. And what came in my mind, that you have AI background, you have corporate background, and I want to deal with corporate, and I didn't have 1% corporate background in my pocket. So it just clicked. Like, she comes from the AI experience, she comes from the people experience, I come from the tech experience, development and marketing, and we kind of have same goals. It's just I wanted to deal with broader audience with just marketing. You wanted to deal with more operational side and consulting side of the business to people industry. And I was like, yeah, let's move forward with it. Initially, the goal of Empowered AI from my side was I will get a lot of data, and that data I can use to build Wellen. But later, it started becoming, Empowered AI started making more sense, that this has way more potential, and this aligns way more with my mission, where I can help more and more to the broader humanity and help them evolve, basically.
Yeah. The evolution of mankind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One more thing about your last question, which was Gen Z and how we think. I didn't add one thing, which was ego.
Oh.
So I'm still working on it. We have a massive ego because I deal with Gen Z team members also, and I'm a Gen Z also. So in my initial career, when I used to get feedback from 40-year, 50-year-old, 60-year-old person who's in the market for so long related to social media or marketing, I used to think like, who the fuck are you? You don't even know what social media is. But later you realize things once you be in a business and have more conversations, once you test multiple things, that social media and marketing is all about understanding human psychology, understanding human
Yeah.
better. The better you understand humans, the better the marketer you are going to be. And who have spent more time with people, me or someone who's double my age? So no matter if someone is not more experienced in social media or marketing, but they still know more about people than you. So their feedback is super important. And these are the things you learn. And this is what I find in new business comers, Gen Zs who are starting their life in the business world, super egoistic, like they don't take feedback so easily.
Well, this is something that we've discovered on a journey. So, whatever your jam is, who's listening into this, you may be running your own business, you may be in-house in an organization. What we're bringing to the table here is how we work harmoniously in different external environments. But one of the things that we do have is good value alignment, and that's regardless of ages. We kind of have very similar views on many things. Of course, there are differences, and we need that. We don't have tension because we have very different skill sets. And when you're going into a new team or into a new business, or you're forming your own business, or you have your own business, it's very comfortable and easy to have very similar people because they're easier to manage. But actually, that's not what you need. Because if you have a harder today, it's going to be easier tomorrow. That's one of my mottos. So we have to have hard conversations to break through any limitations, any barriers, any boundaries, because usually we're the only people in our own way to being successful, whatever success means to you, of course. So one of the things that struck me, or has struck me, so this is our first trip away, and we've learned so much about each other. We've been a little bit in each other's pockets because we get to see all sides of each other. And I think that that's really healthy. We can understand what's happening in our worlds, but not be too private not to be too private into each other's worlds. But it gives us a good sense of who we are and where our boundaries are. And you have to have boundaries when you're together. But one of the things I really, really enjoy is when you've had, so I can speak from my perspective, I've had 25 years in the corporate game. And I can honestly say that I overthink about everything. And Aman's just like, just fucking do it. Just do it. Like, why are we waiting? You wait for perfectionism, Zoe. Like, maybe that's also another trait that I've learned over the years. But like, I'm learning to be more spontaneous. Every time you ask me something and I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do it. Like, it's because Gen Z have a different attitude. They're also, I know you mentioned about being egotistical in some ways, but there's a quality about Gen Z which are like, it's okay to look stupid. I don't know everything, so it's all right. It's okay. Just do it anyway. And I think that that's something that we can really learn. And in business, you have to take risks. And when you're a Gen Xer, a risk is really looking stupid, really looking that you don't know what you're talking about. And that can raise insecurity, and that can raise also magnificent egotistical traits. And that was something that actually happened to me yesterday. I was like, we spoke about it because we speak about everything. If there's any conflict or challenge or friction, we're going to talk about it. And it's good for us not to agree, but we are working on conflicting really well. We also met other people, didn't we? And we met a couple who are here on holiday. They're not working, and they're a romantic partnership. And we're observing some of the things that, that makes a relationship really good. Not in a romantic sense, but in terms of compatibility. And we observed that, well, they told us that they conflict really well.
Yeah.
And it's something that kind of we were like, oh, yeah, we probably need to think about that. Because there's always a problem in business, isn't there? Alex Hormozy talks about if you're growing, there's growing pains. If you're stagnant, there's stagnant pains. If you're whatever stage you are, you fix that problem, but you've got a new problem. And in that new problem, there'll be potential misalignment and disagreement. Yeah. And you've got to come into those in a space where you can come to some kind of compromise. And it's not about who's being right. That does come into it to a degree, but it's about how do we find this together? How do we find the way together? What's your view on that?
I would say the best way or the best situation you can find yourself in terms of any conflict is not being the same person. So what I mean by this is maybe your decision style is different, your conversation style is different, mine is different, your skills are different, mine are different. We cannot be same, because if we are same, we are going to conflict on same things again and again. Opposite attracts, north and south.
Yeah.
So that's how it works. She brings a piece of puzzle, I cannot bring the same piece of puzzle. I have to bring another piece
Thank
of puzzle.
goodness.
And that's when we figure out that it does this align well or not. And it's more about, in terms of business, it's more about technicality, numbers, and throwing questions like, why do you think this can work? It's not about I'm right or you are right. It's about, okay, you have this different perspective. Why do you think this is better? And why do you think this is work? It's like challenging each other at all the times, instead of trying to please each other, instead of trying to make someone feel better. It's more about the company is the third person, it's not connected with us. So it's more about focusing together, growing a third entity, which is our company. So both have the similar goal, but we can choose different ways. And it's always better to challenge, why do you think your way is better than mine?
Actually, and what is we've talked about this as well, because I'm learning an awful lot about marketing. I'm not a marketeer by trade. By the way, if you work in HR, go and get some sales skills and marketing skills, because you don't generate revenue, and that is a bit of a watch out point if you are thinking about leaping into your own business. Because for me, I've not understood what that truly means in business, because you now have to step out of the core expertise that you've done for many years. That's what you can do with your eyes closed. Now you've got to step into a different role, and that role is a business owner, and a business owner has to wear many hats. And I think that's one of the things that that's really clear for me, is that I haven't lived at 24 years old in this day and age, because something fundamentally is very different. I didn't have the opportunity to do this. There wasn't the socialization around the world with technology. I was brought up in a very different way. And it's required me to unlearn some things and learn again. And that can feel really hard. But one of the things that I really urge people to think about is having a co-founder. What do you think of the benefits of being co-founders? I don't know why I just had an accent there. Co-founder.
So having a co-founder?
Yeah. What do you think the benefits are?
It's like you can focus more on your specialty and give your opinion more on yours. Just imagine a situation where you are only the founder in Empowered AI.
Yeah.
Now, either you are trying to learn tech and development by yourself, or either you are trying to find a person who aligns with you. And now he's more towards money, not towards growth of the company.
Yeah.
So always, if you are very lucky, only in that situation your employees or person you get in the company is thinking about the company, not about the money. In terms of co-founders, when you start a business from scratch by yourself, you both have the same goal, which is growing the company.
Yeah.
Money is the byproduct for sure. And this is what the alignment for us is. Money is always the byproduct, and it just keeps on coming. It's just a tool.
Yeah.
And we always keep on focusing on human evolution, keeps on focusing on growing the company. And having co-founder, it's like, I don't have to learn what your skill set is, and you don't have to learn what my skill set is. So now this 1 + 1 is 11 kind of situation. That I'm working on this, you are working on this. Now we both are putting efforts into this.
What do you think are the most important skills that co-founders need to have that are unified? So we have to have the same, what attributes or qualities makes a good co-founder partnership?
Okay, so a lot of people are going to expect a very technical answer like marketing and sales, but everyone knows that you need to know a little bit about marketing, a little bit about sales. I would say people skills, understanding how humans actually work, decision-making skills,
Mm-hmm.
actually understanding the deep implication of making a decision and not making a decision, critical thinking. Because if you're starting a business from scratch, there will be a lot of times when you find yourself in a shithole and you have to get out of that place.
Shit show alert. Yes, yes.
So to get out of a specific place, you have to think logically. You cannot be sad, depressed, or think emotionally. And your intelligence and your critical thinking skill is going to help you in that situation, and really understanding if something is going right or something is going wrong. So these are the skills that are kind of non-negotiable in co-founders, that you need to understand each other, you need to have people skills, understand your clients, customer, your market, yourself and your founders, your team. You have to have leadership skills, because at one point all of us are leaders to someone else. All of us are trying to make decisions for someone else. I'm handling my team, you are handling the entire company. So it's like my social media manager is handling someone else.
Yes.
My operation manager is handling another people.
Yeah.
So we all are leaders in one way or another, just a different level. And so we all need to have some decision making and leadership skills. So these are the basic natural skills that you need to develop slowly. And marketing and sales is like, it's like technically you can learn it. It's a book.
Yeah, I understand. I think that there's something which, first of all, I think having a co-founder, you never have to do anything alone. And lots of people that work by themselves go from an environment where they have access to lots of resources and lots of people, and suddenly that's gone. And that can feel really alone. You can feel really lonely with that. And that can be quite demotivating when you can't get over a hurdle, or, so I always say a problem solved is a problem, a problem shared is a problem solved. And so I having had a business on my own before, I have found it much harder doing that by myself than with Aman. But I will say this, that you have to have a couple of things in common. I believe that you've got to work at the same speed. I think that's really important. One person can't be gallivanting and heavy lifting and doing everything, the other one just plodding along behind. That doesn't work. You have to have somebody that's aligned in terms of your speed. You've got to be aligned in terms of the impact that you want to drive, essentially your mission and vision, and those values. They're the binding glue for me. And having had partnerships in the past that have been extremely painful, I would not choose to go down a route where I have, we have to have an enormous amount of trust. We have bank accounts together, we have money together, we make decisions on certain things together where we're investing money. So there's lots of things, and there has to be implicit trust there. And that's one thing that is not built so easily. So, and it's quite, I'd say delicate, trust it, because once it's broken, it's broken. And I think that that's something that we recognise as well, that we have to have trust with each other. And sometimes that's really vulnerable and uncomfortable, because there's a line, and that line might be quite private, or,
And it's also like a responsibility when someone trusts you so much, then you just feel super responsible about
loyal,
it. Exactly. And it can put the other person also in uncomfortable situation. Like yesterday you told me there are very few people you trust, and you are one of them. And now I'm like, oh shit.
You know what we did? So should we tell them a little bit about the personality, the assessment?
Sure.
So now over the years, I, as a psychologist, I'm absolutely fixated and fascinated by why people do the things they do, say the things they say, behave the way they behave. And of course, that's not for me, because I'm exempt from that discussion. Of course I am. Not really. And I've had lots of assessments over the years that tell me my traits, my qualities, my characteristics. And I will say that no test, assessment, or questionnaire is ever going to get an absolute 100% accuracy. So the best that we can hope for is to do a blended version of multiple different angled assessments that give us the best view of us. And one of those is also feedback, right? So I've had a lot of feedback over the years. And it has shaped me, right? So when you're relatively new into your career, and if you've never worked in corporate, then you might not have that kind of feedback. So we did a few of those things. And essentially, in terms of a Myers-Briggs profile, Aman is an ENTJ. So that's an extrovert, nurturing, thinking and judging. And I'm an INFJ. So I'm an introvert, nurturing, feeling and judging, which, that also helps us to understand our styles. Now, it's not the absolute, but it does help us to understand a little bit more about how we receive information. Oh, lights are on. And also, we looked at our strengths. We've got a lot of those in common. We looked at love language. Now, for those of you that aren't really familiar with love language, love comes from all different kinds of places. It's not just about one type of love. There's a romantic type of love. There's a parent love. There's a love and passion for work. There's all sorts. So love comes from different places. But if you're familiar with Gary, I think it's Gary Chapman, and the 5 love languages, we've also discovered that. So we now have explored each other's profiles and looked at that with our business strategy to look at where we might grow and evolve as individuals and together. I think not many people will do that. Do you think, I'm just questioning for the audience, maybe you have a perspective and I'd love you to put in the comments, but what was shocking or surprising for you, because you've never done this before?
Getting that feedback, because when you've not been through a corporate cycle, it's super hard for you to get feedback.
Yeah.
From whom you are going to get you cannot get feedback from your family because there will be a bias.
Of
I
course.
cannot get feedback directly from you because you are my co-founder, then there will be a bias. I cannot get feedback from my friends, and there are no seniors above me at the moment who can give me the feedback directly, who are not directly related to me. So getting that feedback from a logical perspective was kind of surprising and also relieving, because most of the time when you were giving feedback, I was thinking, oh, I know this is the issue, this is the weakness, I'm trying to work on it. So the good thing about the pro that I found was most of them I've already discovered and realized that these are the weaknesses in me that I need to work on. And that's what matters. And the other thing, what I found interesting is that we naturally connected. And the reason behind that naturally connection was our personalities. Because like you says, mine is thinking, yours is feeling. So these are the two pieces of puzzles.
The head and the heart.
Exactly. So this is
Head
how you really connect. And the question like you asked from the audience that have you ever done this kind of psychological assessment? Most of the time in the company, a wrong person is making decisions about the wrong things. So I'm not emotional. I don't judge my team on the basis of emotions. I judge my team on the basis of how much output you are generating, how many efforts you are putting, at least if the value is not being generated. So I judge on the basis of that. And maybe once we have a big number of headcount in the team, that can be super harsh for the team. And that will be the place I shouldn't be making decisions about because of my personality. And maybe there will be changes.
You will grow and evolve.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is not how this is for my whole life and I will remain like this. No. Personalities change, adapt, you grow.
Yeah.
So maybe after a year, I'll be more emotional and Zoe will be more number person.
We're hoping. And that's a balance though, isn't it? That's a balance. And I think that, Aman has seen my sort of mini meltdowns because I do have them. I'm a human and I don't care how old you get and I don't care how experienced you are. If you choose to stay in comfort and a very controlled life, you might be able to predict a lot. But when you get thrown outside of that, and bearing in mind that the only thing we can really own is ourselves, our behaviour, our actions, our thoughts. We really get to decide the type of life. Only we can really live our life. And lots of people might point the finger externally and say it's because of all of these factors. And we've very quickly realised that there's so much benefit of combining our skills together. We can get so far on our own, but it is incredibly, we believe that we are, in a very specific set of skill sets right now. We believe that we've got something quite unique, and we want to make sure that we carry on that trajectory. So doing that type of exercise was really, really good, and we'll keep repeating that. And in terms of feedback, like, everything's a data point. When people aren't speaking to you, that's a data point. If you want to look at feedback in a way which is negative or positive, and I think the word feedback actually just creates a bit of a, oh shit, what's coming? So maybe it's just a bit about sort of understanding what somebody's thinking and feeling. And it doesn't need to be uber emotional conversation, but it is a what's working well and what's not. And I think that's really important. And I'm seeing more and more founder relationships, which are varying age, male, female, or different genders. I think that's really important. We cover all skills between us, which is phenomenal. We've got now a team of, how many? Six? Six of us? Six of us. And we're around the world, so we're not in one location, which brings about diversity in terms of environment, types of people that we connect with. And actually, while we've been traveling, we've also connected with tons of people that are also doing what we're doing. Not exactly like for like in terms of they're traveling, they're working, etc. So this has been, a really good experience. Very disconcerting, very uncomfortable in different moments, because the scooter. Should we tell them about the scooter?
Sure, go on.
So we come from Bangkok, we arrive in Koh Samui, and the first day we're here, Aman's like, should we get a scooter? And I'm like, yeah, I can ride a scooter. Yeah, of course. Yeah, no problem.
But she doesn't take the turn right.
Right. So literally, it's a bit crazy, the traffic here. Well, actually, it's not. It's just, it's a little bit more unpredictable, right? You've got to take your brains out. You've got to take your brains out, put them on the dashboard, and just drive like everyone else does. And so I'm thinking, yeah, this is all good until I go on the back of the motorbike. Oh my God. Well, all I'll say is that I was gripped on to Aman and thinking I'm going to die any given moment. So then I thought I'm going to go out on my own. Well, I think I went out at the heightest of rush hour you could probably imagine, and I couldn't take a right because I thought I would die. So I kept driving. I went out 5 minutes down the road to get some food. 40 minutes I drove straight because I was so afraid of turning right. I mean, come on. Just go into the road, indicate, be patient and make the turn. No, couldn't do that. So shaking to the core, I had to stop because I was like, I cannot drive like this. I'm going to have an accident. Anyway, so I cried a little bit, really felt stupid and thought, I've got to get back. So what did I do? I walked across the fucking road with the scooter. I mean, people must have thought I was insane. Insane. I got across the road. I felt relieved. I just drove straight back. I didn't have anything to eat or drink. And by the time I got back here, I was so happy that I was back in some kind of familiarity, home. I call this home. It's really nice here, by the way. And you just took to the streets like duck to water, weaving in and out the traffic. And this is the quality I love. Just do it. You're overthinking this too much. You can do this. Just do it. You're going to learn. If you don't know how to do it, you're going to learn. And you're going to learn fast. And that was the moral of the story. And so yesterday, we've now got 2 scooters. I've got mine and he's got his. Now, his is a bit bigger engine than mine, and mine's a baby engine, but it's so cute and it's so much better for me. And now I feel happy and joyful to be roaming the island, and I've got freedom. So yeah, that was something so surprising for me. And I'm so glad that I wasn't here on my own to do that. I'm not sure I would have done it, which is a real shame. Because how many times do we not do things because it's uncomfortable or we don't know, or the fear? You don't seem to have any fear.
No, it's just different phase. You, my comfort zone and my uncomfortable zone is different than your comfort zone and your
Yeah.
uncomfortable zone. It's about leaving that comfort zone.
Yeah.
So we also had a conversation about this, that a lot of the time the basic entrepreneur hustle mentality is just work 12 to 15 hours a day, work 100 hours a week for
Mm.
100 days. Even Alex Hormozi says that work 100 hours a week for 100 days. And I don't agree with it. I'm like, if I'm at the same place, working on the same things and working for so long, that environment is not discipline. It's just I'm used to it now.
It's a habit.
That's a habit. That's my comfort zone. And the more you be in a comfort zone, the slower you are going to grow.
Yeah, it doesn't mean to say we don't work, but we do it differently. So
It's different.
you have to navigate different things. For like internet connection, you take it for granted. When we're in our homes, we're laptop warriors. We sit behind a laptop. We're on calls with clients. It's very comfortable. We don't have transition moments. We don't need to physically move our asses and go somewhere. And I think that one of the things that we were asked recently is, are we repeating the pattern? Are we doing the same shit over again? And I think
yeah.
it both, you shared that with me, asked me, like, are we repeating the same pattern? And I think that is comfort right there. It's comfortable to keep doing, but you have to measure what you're doing to understand its true impact. And in measuring it, you can continue to learn. I think I don't like the word failure. It seems to be a negative connotation for a lot of people. I think it's learning. It's only failure if you fail to integrate that learning, what you've learned, into the next thing. So if you keep beating the same shit over and over again, you're going to get the same outcome. It's insanity to think that you would have any different. So yes, it comes down to discipline. Hormozi talks about this a lot. We admire Alex Hormozi and what he does, and Layla Hormozi, and we love their models, their money models. We think they make so much sense. They're also in their 30s, and I think that's a real prime time. If you can cut your teeth into your career in your mid-30s or by your mid-30s, that's a very good age to be established, because different phases of life, and we talked about this, Aman doesn't know what it's like to be 30, 40 or 50. I do, only in the ages and stages that brings. So the environment is quite important. And when we're thinking about, am I boring you?
No, go on.
You sure?
Yeah.
I'm so in tune. Oh my gosh, it's so much, and you only get that when you're in proximity. Anyway, so the point is that yes, you need discipline, and yes, you need to take action all the time. But what makes the difference for me is I'm challenged in different ways. I've got to get on the scooter. I've got to go here. I've got to transition. The weather might be bad. The traffic might be bad. I might be really hot because it is hot here. And your body and your energy takes different routes on that journey. So you've got to find your way, whether it's, and just be uncomfortable with it and just do it anyway. I think that's the thing. The message of this is just do it. Don't think about it so much. Just do it and let the results speak for themselves. Measure those. Would you say?
Yeah, sure. I agree to it. I don't have anything over this.
What else do we, in the founder sort of journey, what do you think we haven't yet discovered? What do you think we're gonna, because I think as we grow, and I would say that 1 year from now, we're going to be in a very different place. We're going to have different pains. What do you think that we are going to face and be challenged with?
So there are two questions. One is, what are the challenges we are going to face? And the first question was what we haven't discovered yet.
Yes.
So if I talk about what we haven't as founders discovered yet, I would say very strong, harsh conflicts. We haven't gone through them yet, and I would love to see how we will tackle those in the future, because they are just inevitable.
Yep.
And the second thing is, what will be our first bottleneck in terms of when we are kind of blitzscaling, and we
Yeah.
are already starting to face that bottleneck, which is delivery issue. What we are delivering is not like you can just get a person from the street and he will start delivering for you. You have to get an experienced person who has the operational experience,
Yeah.
and then you have to teach them more
Yeah.
about AI and stuff. So delivery will be a very big issue for us in the future. So
Beautiful issue to have.
yeah, sure.
I look forward to that.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you have a scaling mindset where because most of the people who are going to watch this video, they have the delivery issue.
Yeah, well, they've got
So
an issue of some kind, but people either don't know. So if you're a consultant or you're your own business owner, you're likely in feast or famine. So you've probably got either money but no time,
yeah,
or you've got time but no money. And we call that the feast or famine. And that's what we call the roller coaster and helter skelter all in one moment. And actually you can have both. That's what most of the clients we have had this realization that they really need to understand where they are today, where they want to be. Okay, as delulu as they want to be, I don't care. Have a view of where you want to be in the future and dream big. And to get to that point, there's a lot of steps in between. Maybe some more than others, but in those steps, there's things that can really help with manual work, repetitive tasks, and they can be automations. This is all sort of tech and AI talk, but actually, I think that we're gonna face the deeper thing is that we're gonna find it hard to find those people.
yeah,
So it's not the delivery issue. It's finding people to help us deliver that's going to
exactly.
become the issue. And lots of people are pivoting their LinkedIn profiles to say that they're an AI expert,
Yeah,
and they've not got any experience in it. Good luck to them. And I've got no personal threat to that. I think absolutely, if you can capitalize on it and grow and learn, brilliant. But there are leaders in the space, and you don't need to talk about it. You just need to show what you do. And so I think that we will attract people into our reality that want to come and work with us, that feel that purpose driven and alignment of we're changing minds, heads and hearts. That's what we're doing. Like, we're selling freedom in different ways to different audiences. So in-house HR teams or in-house teams also have a different, challenge than a consultant. But everybody has a problem, and everyone's always going to have a problem. So that's what we do. Do you think we should rename ourselves Chief Problem Solvers? Because we do.
We can do anything we want. So
That's true.
yeah,
See, we can do anything we want. And it's limiting belief if you think that you can't. And there's a proof here that I always go back to the Paralympics. There are less able-bodied people than myself. And I mean that in the most loving way, that I have 2 arms, 2 legs, functioning body in what we might perceive as a normal human. And there are people with disadvantages, but they've leaned into that to make it their advantage. And so what is the difference between, an Olympian, whether it's in sport world, business world, whatever it might be, is one thing. The mindset. They actually believe that they can do anything that they put their mind to.
yeah.
You believe that. He has this unwavering optimism about everything. And
No, it's just you don't need motivational speech or optimism or whatever you call it to do what you want. It's like a simple question. Do you want to do this?
you ask me that all the time.
Yeah, so that's exactly why are we leaving our decisions on someone else? That someone else is going to come and tell me that,
Did you hear
please,
that?
please help me do this.
Did you hear that? Why we're leaving decisions to somebody else?
So it's
Like,
not
mic
that
drop.
exactly. It's not even that deep. It's like super surface level thinking, top of the line thinking. It's not even we are going deep.
God,
It's like,
so obvious.
do you want to do this? Yes.
Yeah.
So
It's crazy how, and again, I can only speak from my own personal experience. It's crazy how I think that everything that I've achieved, I've learned how to do. You're not born with all of these skills, right? You have to harness them. Yes, there will be skills that you are natural at. And the secret is finding what you're really natural at and leveraging it.
I have a very polarizing thought about this,
Tell me.
that you are born entrepreneur. I don't think you can be entrepreneur if you're not born with that
Well, what makes it
specific.
born? What do you think is the qualities to make that? How do you know that you've been born an entrepreneur?
You won't know it, you would do it.
Oh, okay.
So
Mhm.
critical thinking and leadership qualities is what makes you an entrepreneur, and ability to take the pressure.
Mm.
So if you cannot handle pressure, if you break down in little pressure, then you are not an entrepreneur.
Yeah, there's a lot of ambiguity that comes along with that.
Exactly.
There's a lot of hustle and a lot of discomfort. You've got to be okay with that.
It's like the decisions we make.
Yeah.
If I make a decision, there are two things that can happen. One is we can thrive. The second one is everything goes to,
We go north or south.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or we
So
stay the same.
exactly. And I, as a decision maker, have to be comfortable with this and ready to take all the situations, ready to handle all the outcomes. Same with you, same with any other entrepreneur or mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes everywhere, like feeding on me particularly.
So yeah, so ability to handle pressure, ability to make the decisions. This is what you are born with, and also your childhood, how you've spent your childhood.
Yeah, born leadership.
So I have we are total 5 siblings, 3 sisters, including me, 2 brothers.
Yep.
And my brother is a doctor. He is very sharp-minded and intelligent person from childhood. And I had that pressure always, that he's getting he's getting this many grades in the school, and I'm not even studying whole year. I used to study just 10 days of 2 weeks before the exams. That's it.
You've got a
I-
high IQ though.
I usually get higher grades than
Yeah,
my brother also. But the only thing is the pressure. It's like he's studying every single day after coming back from the school, and I'm not. So that's the pressure. He's studying, he's getting. My teachers always used to complain about me. My brother never, no complaints. He was a
Ideal
nice
student,
guy.
perfect
Exactly.
student. Mhm,
Exactly.
mhm,
My
mhm.
teachers used to say, "Oh, your brother used to be so good, and look at you." And I
Yeah.
used to get more grades. I used to get higher grades, but still,
But how you did
it's
it was different.
how I did it was different, and that was the pressure where you have to squeeze the entire syllabus in 2 weeks and just drink it.
Yeah, but you've got so one thing I've noticed, you've got a very high ability to learn super fast. Like you read a book and you're a brilliant reader. You're very well he's quite educated. And you kind of read a lot. You even said to me yesterday, like I need to read, like I need to read. It expands
Yeah.
my mind. It
Yeah.
helps me to grow and evolve, which is brilliant. But I think your ability to learn is so high. So Google, I don't know if it's now, but they used to hire based on learning. One of their main criteria
Intelligence.
was around their learning, how
Yeah,
fast they
how
can learn.
fast a person
They
can learn.
didn't literally hire anybody into a senior role. They bring everybody at the same level, and basically they believe that you can learn all the skills. If you can learn fast and you can learn anything fast, then you can learn basically and grow into any role. And I think that is something that I see in myself. I used to be more like that. Yes, I'm doing academia myself now at this grand old age that I am, young age, should I say, young age. And but you learn super fast.
And I'm not sure about that, but still, and this is something that's been here from my childhood.
Yeah.
It's not like something
Yeah.
I learned. So this is what I'm talking about. You need to have that mindset, or maybe you call it the natural skills that you are born with, or maybe you've been through a specific environment from your childhood, where you adapted to those skills. That's what you need to be entrepreneur. If you analyze all the billionaires or millionaires, whoever you think is a good entrepreneur, analyze their childhood, and everyone's childhood is going to look kind of the same.
There's some
I'm
similar qualities.
I'm not going to say that everyone started from poor life. Bill Gates' father was a judge and he got the best connections in the world. But in terms of pressure, so all it comes down to how well you can handle a pressure.
Well, we've only got two premises, really, haven't we? When everything's going okay and when everything's not.
Yeah,
Like,
and both
so-
the
and both of
situations will
those
give you the pressure.
Well, absolutely. So, and it's how we perform under those, because when you're a highly visible leader, and bearing in mind that everybody is now recorded, they can record, we are all on a stage somewhere, we are under the spotlight for our behavior all the time. Like what we say, how we say it, you know, it's interpreted and everyone will judge. Now, I try to come from a place of no judgment. It's not always the way, but I try to have that as a rule of thumb. But generally speaking, you know, people are judgmental, and when they're seeing you do something, it's a role model. Like if people see other people doing it, they think it's right to do it. I'm not sure I agree with all of that, but it is, you know, I can't change the world in that respect. I can only take responsibility for me, myself, and I. By the way, Aman's going to show us how to dap. Does anyone know what dapping is? Oh my God.
Come on.
Like dapping. I mean, I'm 51 years old, and when I do that, it also jiggles the fat under my arm and makes me feel even older. But I'm like, honestly, dapping. I don't know even what to say about that. But anyway, dap. He's like dap. And Marcia Weekspears, that's just for you if you're watching. Okay, so we're going to come to the end of our ZED Talk today. I feel like it's been really serious, and we are very playful. Like we laugh a lot. I mean, he giggles like a girl.
What?
He does, right? and I think that he thinks I'm absolutely off my rocker sometimes, and as I do him. But I can honestly say it's very refreshing to be with such energy for me, and it's just wonderful that there's somebody else that I share the load with, that I can, you know, talk to about things. I can't talk to my friends and family. They don't understand, nor should they, because they offer me love and support in different ways than in a work environment. But I'm so happy that I met you.
The thing you said something before we end, like people are judgmental.
Yeah.
And people do judge things. It's about you having a mission and you having a purpose in your life, and then the last thing is not giving a fuck. It's like my mission is human evolution, right?
Yeah.
This is I feel this is the purpose of my life, and human evolution, and
Mine too.
either people are going to agree with me or they are going to disagree with me. I don't give a fuck. I'm working on my thing. That's it.
Yeah, stop worrying about what other people
So,
are doing
yeah.
or not doing, and what they're judging and not judging. They're going to judge anyway.
So if you believe in your mission, if you really do believe in your mission, and
Yeah.
you think this working on this mission is the purpose of your life, then you will naturally not give a fuck about what other people think.
That's true. That's true. And actually, Aman, so both of us have written books. They haven't been published yet, but we're looking to get that done for different things, right? So I'm on the journey of looking at that self-mastery, that leadership perspective, because I think it's so important how you lead yourself, how you lead others, etc. But there's a book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I can't remember the author's name, but it's a good read, and I encourage anyone to think about that. So is there anything else that we probably need to talk about before we wrap up?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything left.
Well, we might do some other, like
Part 2.
part 2 and other parts.
The part 2 will be when we already have 2 bottles of wine.
Oh God, yeah. I think Aman's drunk more wine than he ever has done. And I was like, I'm not drinking this year. Well, okay. So we did have an epic night that I'm not going to necessarily go into detail, but that was Gen Z's showed me how to party. Gen Z style. Okay, let's leave it there, shall we?
Let's end this.
He's got video footage And all I'll say is I hope it never gets out. My reputation is done. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. That was a little surprise for you. And I hope that our listeners have enjoyed this and be inspired to either start your own journey or think about how you partner with other people, what your sense of the world is, and be open to explore and get out your comfort zone, because age can bring so much wonderment, but it can also bring such doubt because of, you know, whether it's failure, whether it's not feeling good enough. Don't give a shit, do it anyway. That's what I'd say. So thanks for coming on ZED Talks.
It was my pleasure. I'm worried about one thing.
What?
Is it recording?
Oh my God. Yes, it is.
Please, it's recording.
Yes. It is. It is.
Oh, yeah.
It is.